Okay, this video is some of our northern anchorages in Queensland we've done. We are right at the end of October now, and there's plenty of algae floating around, as you can see in different video sections, as well as the turtle mating time. As you'll see on the different anchorages we do. The first one is a well-known anchorage called Pearl Bay, and along with its opposite for the northerly winds as well, we will call this one Decomp Cove. Pearl Bay, as you can see in the beginning of this section here, is a very sheltered anchorage, good for the southerly winds, even up to northeasterly. It gets quite sheltered. Northeasterlies can give you a bit of a swell roll in there, but has a protection of the reef that comes off the island as well, which curves around. Great little fishing spot as well. It also has some very nice beaches to walk along as well, which can go from a fair way. A couple of separate beaches you can tender over to. And the land here is all land used by the army and that for training. They bomb the area, so it can be subject to when you can anchor there sometimes. Anyway, the next anchorage, as you can see on the video, we had a lot of algae coming in that day. This is Decomp Cove. With the drone shots there, you'll see down into Port Clinton around the corner. Also another very good fishing spot. But beautiful area. It's not national park, which is good. So the beaches are good for walking dog and things. Decomp Cove is also one of those areas where a lot of the rubbish comes into. There's a couple of little coves in that area, and they always seem to get all the stuff that washes in there. Probably a lot of it off commercial fishing vessels and that, 'cause we see a lot of LPG tanks and floats and all sorts. But we also come down to where the turtles are as well. The turtles are always in the area. So over in one of the coves of Decomp there, we one morning looked across and could see this turtle, and there was a large one as well, working its way down the beach. The tide was coming in, but it was already out, so it was on the way in. So we actually did race over in the tender, and we got some shots of this turtle, and thinking that it must have laid eggs, but no, because of this season at the moment where the turtles are mating, they tend to rest a lot too, these female. And what we found was she'd been resting up amongst the rocks, and she's a big one. She was around probably the 100 kilo mark, and we just got her going into the water. So we did go up and have a look at her track and see where she was, and she'd been sleeping up near the rocks, so it was nice and safe and quiet for her. Had a good sleep. One of our other stops, which was on the way down, going home as we're coming down to Pearl Bay Way, was an island called Knight Island. It's not too far from Curlew actually, Curlew Island, which is another stop that a lot of people do, and we were very surprised here at how beautiful it was, and it was another island that's not a national park, which is amazing because most of them are just national parks. And this was the other spot. We found another turtle. This one was sleeping with a part tide which was still going out. When I first found him, I thought, oh, he looked like he was dead. His flip was just floating around, the head was just floating around. He was just sleeping. And even the dog couldn't work it out. But anyway, so we left him alone after this and stayed there for the rest of the day. And I think it just needed a good sleep and rest because of the mating season at the moment. But it was the same size as the one that we found at Decom Cove. So
Can you think?
that was an interesting sight.
Look out.
Hmm? Is that what you're waiting for? You're an old one, aren't you? Hmm? And what we did find out later on,
Jesus,
I found out being in October now, turtles are heavy on mating now. So this poor old girl is probably trying to have a sleep. And I have come across it before, I've forgotten. But this is probably why she is so lifeless, is having a good sleep, and she actually slept right into the low tide there, as you can see. The one thing that I did like about Knight Island, it was, yeah, it's great for the northeast winds and that, nice and sheltered in there. It's got surrounding little reefs, which do, the water does go out a long way once the tide's out, but we're in nice sandy bottom in between here, so it's a good sand anchorage. We never had any problems. Top of the island also I think has a weather station up there. I think having a look at it with the drone, it's got its solar panels for charging batteries and all sorts of things up there, and aerials. So, and also on the island, which I think is probably used for camping quite a bit. There's a bit of a shed down there, set up with a barbecues. It wasn't, just a wood barbecue and that. Bits and pieces in the shed, sink and all sorts of things. There was a heap of gear there. Someone's dropped off swags and fuel and things. So obviously someone was setting up to come in there later and camp. And we did see another boat come in, but it wasn't with this gear. They did stay the night. So I think it's a fairly popular sort of place. Another anchorage we stopped at, which was another surprise one. It's called Poynter Island. It is a national park one, but it's not visited that much, I don't think. Quite a secluded little bay in there, but the water is very milky and dirty. Get a lot of movement of water in this area. So we couldn't see the bottom real good. A bit of a word of warning. Yes, we did manage to get an anchor in alright. It was There's a sand bottom. We're in about 6 meters of water, but I do recommend to anchor a bit further out from where we were, because when we did pull anchor, I think it was on a low tide, and we did see rocks quite close to where we were, so just a bit of a warning. But another interesting little island. The beaches aren't nice and sandy like a lot of the places. As you can see, there's a pebbly sort of beach, but it's another one of those isolated places where it's nice to visit, because not many people do, and that's one of the ideas of having a boat, being able to do these things. And of course it's another one of these anchorages, because it's a north facing cove that we're in, which is good for the southerly winds. Quite sheltered in there because it is a nice high island. That's about it really. As you can see by the drone, it's another wooded island. And that concludes our video for this time. We've done quite a few different anchorages up north and that, but that's it for this season anyway. Hope you enjoyed the video.